Hello friends, this is Dr. P.R. Chaudhary from KKV College of Agriculture, Nasik. Today we are going to study about different methods of preservation under the course Principles of Food Science and Nutrition, course number FST 362. Preservation is a science which deals with the process for prevention of decay or spoilage of the food. Any method which will prevent the spoilage of food or which will increase the shelf life, which will maintain the nutritious value, will come under preservation. There are various different factors which lead to food deterioration or food spoilage. Let us look into them one by one. First is inappropriate temperatures. If you store the food at temperatures which are not suitable for that product, then spoilage of the product occurs at a faster rate. Example, we have refrigerators in which we store our fresh fruits and vegetables, milk, so that at that temperature the shelf life and the quality of the food is maintained. Next factor comes in infestation by insects, parasites and rodents. During any stage of food storage or food preparation, there can be attack of insect or pest or microorganisms or parasites and even rodents like mice. So to protect food from these factors is important. Third factor is food enzymes or any other chemical reaction within the food itself. Example, if you don't store the milk at refrigerator or don't boil and pasteurize the milk will spoil automatically because of the bacteria present in the milk. If you cut an apple, you see that the apple starts turning brown because of the enzymatic reactions which take place in that food. Therefore, that becomes another factor. Various microorganisms present in the food or in the atmosphere like bacteria, yeast, molds are also leading factor for food spoilage. Next, we have to think about moisture loss or moisture gain. Both can be problematic. Moisture loss is problematic in food such as fresh fruits and vegetables. When they lose their moisture, they lose the weight, they lose the crispiness and freshness. And moisture gain can be problem in foods such as chips or the crunchier foods. If they gain moisture, they lose their crunchiness, they become soggy. Reaction with oxygen and light is another factor. Example, oxidation of fats leads to rancidity. So you have to prevent food from oxidation or exposure to oxygen. That's why we keep food in airtight containers. Next is time. For how long duration you store the food will also affect the food spoilage. Most of the processed food have an expiry date printed on them, so that you can use them within that time limit. And next is physical stress or abuse. You can also call it as mechanical damage. In fresh fruits and vegetable handling or even in processed food, if there is any kind of mechanical damage or stress, it will cause the food to deteriorate faster. All the previous factors affect food at different stages of the supply chain, right from the farmer's field to the handling and processing center, during storage, transportation and distribution, at market and retail center, and in the end at consumer house. So care must be taken to avoid spoilage at these stages, and that's where preservation plays part. In addition of elimination of microbes, preservation also increases the shelf life of food. It makes seasonal fruits available throughout the year. It also helps to add variety to the diet. It saves time and energy if you are using a pre-cooked meal or ready-to-eat meal. It helps to retain the nutritional value of the food, and also it helps in controlling the prices of the food. In case when there is glut in market, food can be processed and stored and made available during the shortage time. There are mainly three basic principles of food preservation, and this topic we have already covered in the classroom, but let us just quickly go through it. The first principle is to prevent or delay microbial decomposition due to various food spoiling microbes, to prevent self-decomposition or delay self-decomposition due to various enzymatic reactions or chemical reactions, and in the end to reduce the losses due to insect, pest and mechanical causes. We all know one or other method of preservation and have been using it at our home. Example like storing in airtight containers, preservation by using oil or vinegar like in pickle, then heat treatment, example we boil our milk, cold treatment, use of refrigerators, preservation by sugar in case of candies like onla candy or tamarind candy, and preservation by common salt, example in case of fish or example in other dried products. So all these different methods of preservation can be categorized or classified into two groups: temporary method of preservation and permanent method of preservation. Today we are going to study about the temporary methods of preservation, which include asepsis, low temperature storage, exclusion of moisture or drying method, use of mild antiseptic, and last is pasteurization. Temporary methods of preservation will only allow the food to be stored for short while. They do not completely destroy the microorganism present in the food. The first temporary method of preservation is asepsis. Asepsis can be defined as prevention of microbial infection by observing strict cleanliness throughout the food supply chain. That means we don't want to give an entry point to the microorganisms into our food. So this can be achieved by various methods and precautions. First, at the time of harvest, care should be taken to harvest only good quality food or good quality fruits and vegetables. You have to discard any diseased or damaged produce. Second is, material should be free from any blemishes or any mechanical injury so that the food doesn't spoil during processing. Third, once the fruits or vegetables are received at the processing center, they should be washed thoroughly to remove any microorganism present on their surface. In case of processed foods, packaging is done so that it avoids or it prevents the entry of microorganisms into the processed food. Throughout all these steps, you have to maintain strict cleanliness and hygiene. In the end, when the food is ready, packaged, it should be stored in cool and dry place. The temperature should be suitable for that produce. The next method of preservation is by storing food at low temperature. The principle here is at low temperature, microbial growth and enzyme reaction are reduced or retarded. There are three methods. First is the cellar storage. Cellars are nothing but underground storage rooms which were present in villages or in foreign countries. In cellar storage, root vegetables such as potato, onion usually were stored, and also processed food like wine or canned products usually are stored. The temperature in cellar storage usually is above 15 degrees Celsius, and the food can be stored here in winter season. The next method is your refrigerated storage, where temperature of 0 to 5 degrees Celsius can be achieved. This is most common method which we see in everyone's house, where different types of food, right from fresh fruits and vegetables to processed foods like juices, butter, dairy products, can be stored for elongated period. The problem in refrigerated storage is microbial growth and enzyme reaction is not completely stopped, but it is slowed down. Therefore, it is not a permanent method of preservation, and food can be stored only for a short period like 1 week. In the third method is the freezing storage method, where the temperatures of minus 18 degrees Celsius to minus 40 degrees Celsius can be achieved. Here, the enzymatic reaction and microbial growth is reduced to minimum. However, it is not completely stopped, and there can be still certain enzymatic reactions which can occur at this low temperature. The next method of preservation is drying or dehydration. In this method, moisture in the food is removed or reduced to a certain level at which microorganisms cannot grow. This means the water activity is reduced to a minimum level where microorganisms will not be able to grow. This can be achieved by two methods. First is application of heat, and second is by binding the moisture in the food. We all have seen sun drying, where heat from sun is used for drying products. Next method is mechanical drying and freeze drying, which can be utilized to dry the food products. Binding of moisture can be achieved by either use of sugar or salt, as we have seen in onla candy, where the moisture present in the onla gets attached to the cells with help of the sugar or with help of salt. Sun drying is one of the oldest method of food preservation utilizing heat. In sun drying, the food is directly exposed to the sunlight outdoors. In this method, plenty of sunshine should be available for a longer duration. This is one of the cheapest and easiest method of food drying. However, the product obtained is of inferior quality with regard to the nutrients retained and the color. The next method is a mechanical drying method. In this method, usually heat is applied in the mechanical dryer under controlled conditions of temperature, humidity and airflow. There are different types of mechanical dryers such as tray dryer and spray dryers. In case of tray dryers, thin layer of food is evenly spread on the trays and hot air is passed through the cabinet. Hot air removes the moisture from the food and dries the food. However, all the parameters cannot be accurately controlled in your tray dryer, and the product quality obtained is not very superior. On the other hand, in spray dryers, a fine dispersion of pre-concentrated food is first atomized, that is sprayed in form of small droplets, usually ranging from 10 to 200 micrometer in diameter. These are sprayed into a drying chamber in which a heated air is introduced, which is at the temperature of 150 to 300 degrees Celsius. The heated air dries the juice into fine powder, and the air is removed from the outlet and has the temperature of 90 to 100 degrees Celsius, whereas the product obtained in fine powder has the temperature of usually 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. So this method has the benefit of very short duration of drying as well as maintaining relative low product temperature. The third method of heat application is freeze drying. The main principle in freeze drying is sublimation process. That means the food is directly converted from solid state to gaseous state. Also, in addition, vacuum as well as heat is applied during the process of freeze drying. Typically, a freeze drying machine usually consists of a drying chamber with various shelves attached to it. These shelves also have heating units. Then it also has a freezing coil or a refrigeration coil, a refrigeration compressor and a vacuum pump. The product first has to be frozen before freeze drying. The frozen product is then placed on the shelves. The chamber is sealed and then the compressor lowers the temperature in the chamber. Next, the machine will start the vacuum pump and force air out of the chamber, thus lowering the atmospheric pressure inside the chamber. The heating units apply a small amount of heat to the shells so as the ice changes the phase. However, since the pressure is so low, the ice turns directly into water vapor. The water vapor flows out of the chamber past the freezing coil, and here the water vapor condenses on the freezing coil and forms ice again. The main benefit of freeze drying is that it is one of the best method to preserve all the nutrients, color and taste of the food product. However, this is a costly method since you have to first freeze the product and again then dry the product. Another method of preservation is by use of mild antiseptic. These are also known as class 1 preservatives. These substances, when used in small quantities, prevent growth of microbes either by osmosis or by acting as poison or by both actions for a short time. So this is a temporary method of preservation and the products cannot be stored for longer duration. The main substances used in this method are sugar, salt, vinegar and oil. Now let us first understand what is osmosis. In osmosis, the fruit or vegetable is first stored or dipped in an osmotic solution which includes either sugar or salt. So what happens is, as the concentration of the solute in the solution is higher, water from the product, in this case fresh fruit, will move outside and the solutes, example sugar, will move inside the fruit. This is how we prepare Onla candy by the method of osmosis. In case of sugar, we have studied like various types of jam, jellies, syrup can be used and prepared by maintaining the TSS of 65° Brix or higher. Salt solution is also known as brine and is commonly used for canning of your vegetables. Also, vinegar is used for canning and pickling. Example are jalapenos in brine and vinegar solution. Olives are also canned or stored in brine and vinegar. And pickles such as cucumbers, carrots, etc. can also be pickled in the vinegar. Example, your jalapenos and olives you have commonly seen on your pizza. So they are nothing but the pickled or brined vegetables. The next is oil, which we commonly see in our Indian type of pickle. Example is your mango pickle, lemon pickle, etc. And the last method of temporary preservation is pasteurization. Pasteurization is nothing but mild heat treatment that kills some organisms but not all microorganisms and their spores. Example of pasteurization you can see is the milk. If you purchase milk from a milkman, it is raw milk, that is, it is not pasteurized, whereas the milk obtained from the market such as your Amul or Govardhan milk is usually pasteurized milk. What this means is, the milk which is pasteurized is heated at certain temperature for certain duration so that the microorganisms are killed. However, not all microorganisms are killed. Whereas if you buy the milk from milkman, we usually heat it at our home. In both cases, since this is a temporary method, if you don't store the milk at low temperature, or if you don't boil it again, milk cannot be stored for longer period and it will get spoiled quickly because microorganisms are not completely destroyed in this method of pasteurization. There are three different types of pasteurization. First is low temperature for long time method of pasteurization. In this method, relatively lower temperature is used, and since temperature is low, you have to pasteurize it for a longer period. Example, in case of milk, milk can be pasteurized at 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. In high temperature for short time method, higher temperature of 72 degrees Celsius is used just for 15 seconds. So as you increase the temperature, you can automatically reduce the time of pasteurization. And the third and the new method of pasteurization is ultra pasteurization or ultra high temperature pasteurization. In this method, higher temperature of 138 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius is used for only 1 or 2 seconds, and this will pasteurize the product. So this all have completed the temporary methods of preservation. In our next video, we'll study the permanent methods of preservation. Thank you.